New report from the Department of Homeland Security outlines the top threats that agency expects to face in the coming year. Joining us this afternoon, J.J. Green. He is national security correspondent for our news partners at WTOP. J.J., it's always nice to see you. And I think people are going to be surprised when we talk about the biggest national security threat isn't something necessarily that is sort of outward looking. This is much more inward looking. This is at the electoral process that we're facing next year.
That's right, Dave. DHS said a couple weeks ago that they believe that the election-related violence in the 2024 election cycle is going to be fairly significant, and they've been concerned about this for a while. A lot of it has to do with homegrown violent extremism. There is some international influence as well, but there are a lot of groups and organizations that may be engaged in some kind of plotting or planning. Some of it may be low level, but that's one of the real big concerns for DHS in the coming year is how this shakes out. They know what took place on January 6th.
Yes.
They know that there was some of this already kind of hanging out there 2016, but where we are in 2024, it doesn't seem to have dissipated. Some of the people and the actors may have been locked up and put away, but still there's a significant pool of people and organizations that may engage in more of this in the coming year.
And JJ, is this because we have tended to be more outward facing in looking for threats and maybe not paying as much attention to the domestic situation? What's your view?
I think, Dave, a part of this is that there is a growing number of people in the U.S. that are willing to go out and engage in this kind of behavior, whereas in the past, people might have had problems or beefs with each other or a political party or a government, type of government party. But now there seem to be more people that are willing, but there's also a lot of people that don't really understand when they're being manipulated, because a lot of this manipulation comes from social media. A lot of people are locked into their phones, locked into their mobile devices, and you can see it all the time with people sometimes just walking around, just their heads are buried in their device. And the actors who are trying to push out disinformation know that, and they know that they can actually cultivate people this way. I think that's where a lot of the problem where this internal violence is concerned is coming from.
There's a sort of unquestioned belief in whatever you see on your phone or your mobile device. If that's the biggest area, what are some other places that they'll be looking?
I think perhaps by numbers, the most concerning thing is illicit drugs from Mexico. They said that more people will be killed in the coming year, most likely by illicit drugs that come from Mexico than any other threat in the U.S., barring some kind of massive catastrophic terror attack or a disaster or something. But that is the thing they're concerned about. It's because of the Sinaloa cartel, and there's a second cartel also that's called the New Generation Jalisco cartel. They make the fentanyl that's flooding the markets here in the States. And I have to tell you, on a personal note, was in Minneapolis not too long ago and in the Virginia Beach area. And you see people just on the street, out in public, that are using heroin. And these numbers of people are just growing. And what's happening is this heroin is being laced with fentanyl. And you see it all the time. People are overdosing on fentanyl because they think it's heroin. And that's where it's coming from. Illicit drugs from Mexico. That's what the Department of Homeland Security, DEA, are concerned about. And that's why that will most likely be the biggest cause of death in the U.S. from any other threat.
J.J. Green, national security correspondent for WTOP, and someone to whom we turn for an overview in these so important areas. J.J., as always, many thanks.
Pleasure, Dave. Thank you.
Take a break. Get an update for you on the forecast, and maybe when we might see the sun around here at some point. Be right back.